The reason I asked that is I've watched almost every single podcast you ever did for about a year and a half. So much so that I bought into a lot of the things that you said. And for about 2 years, it led me astray and significantly damaged my personal life, including relationships.
How did it lead you astray?
Well, you told me to go sleep with a bunch of women and date multiple women at the same time, which I did. And it significantly damaged my life. And it wasn't until I actually turned around and started listening to Jesus Christ that I was saved. Now I'm happily married. I have one child now with another one on the way, and I've never felt happier. But I felt...
Congratulations, that's good. That's really good.
Thank you. And I know you're not against that, but my concern is what you're saying to men leads them astray, because I'm a walking example of it. And I think you're significantly damaging people, and especially you're leading people away from morality. Women are not sex objects. Women are created in the image of God, and they are valuable. And they should be treated as such. Why should God give you one of his children if you don't even know how to treat him?
Okay, so we have Myron Gaines, Mr. Woman Deserves Less, being confronted by a fan, by a supporter. The guy said he watched almost every single podcast that they did, Fresh and Fit podcast, for about a year and a half. That's a lot of podcast watching. And what he basically said is some of the advice that he was given through watching that show, it kind of messed up his life, messed up his relationships. And, you know, my thoughts on this is really just that first, us as men, we got to understand, I say this all the time, when it comes to red pill content, it's supposed to be a pit stop. It's supposed to be something, you know, to help you learn some things, learn about female nature, learn about the real world and how things really work. And then once you have that information, you move on and you go on about your life. Him saying that he watched Fresh and Fit podcast like all their podcasts for like a year and a half, you were stuck in that place, and you probably found their content entertaining or whatever, and you let it kind of develop your personality and change who you were. When it comes to any content creator, doesn't matter if it's red pill or not, anybody that's preaching ideologies or like telling you how to move and how to live, you got to understand that, like, they're not God. They're not preaching the gospel. You have to understand that everybody has something that you can learn from, some good information, some bad information. You take what works for you and move on. Don't just take everything that Myron or Andrew says like it's the law. Like, don't do that. You take it, run it through your personal filter. If it makes sense for you, if it works for you, then good. You know, you take that information and you move on. But for most of you guys that watch red pill content consistently, y'all don't understand that you're not like, yeah, you're helping their channel, you're helping like support them, but you're not doing yourself a good service by staying in that zone to where you are watching their content. Do you think Myron, do you think Andrew Tate, do you think any of these red pill content creators sit on the internet constantly consuming content about the red pill and about women and watching other people's podcasts all the time? No, they're busy producing their own content and making money and living the lives that they want to live. And that's why I always say red pill is supposed to be a pit stop. You come to it, you watch a few podcasts, you watch a few videos, and by then, all you need is a few watching their content once or twice. Literally, you can watch a whole Fresh and Fit podcast, watch their daytime podcast, which they, you know, are giving guys advice about money and all that stuff. Then you watch their nighttime podcast when they're talking about women and relationships, and they have the girls, and it's all like theatrical. They're kicking women out sometimes. You watch that stuff one time, you get the point. You already, you understand it. If you keep coming back to it, now you're finding them entertaining, and you know that you're getting to the point where you're going to become a little version of them, and you know, it might end up messing your life up. But him saying that just the advice about going to you know, messing with a bunch of women, he doesn't seem like the type of person that advice was actually for. When they say, okay, you never when they say sleep with a bunch of women and date multiple women at the same time, they're talking about guys who never had women before. Like, this information is for a certain type of guy, so they can get experience with women, learn about women, and you know, When they say sleep with a bunch of women, no, I don't necessarily agree with that. But I do believe if you have zero experience with women, I don't think there's anything wrong with going out and dating. You know, like I said, you don't have to sleep with them, but going out and dating multiple women, that will do you good. It'll build your confidence up. It'll get you some experience points. And you'll learn about women. You'll learn how to treat women. And by the time you find the one that you want to make your wife, like he can't say that watching them didn't help him at all. What he did was just he followed them like they was God, and then he found his way back to God, which is good. I'm definitely happy for him in that respect. But to tell these guys that they're just leading men astray, I feel like that's very extreme. That's very extreme. In some respects, they are with some of their content, like the guys who watch them like they just can't miss a podcast. Yeah, some of those guys are being led astray because they're not taking the information and moving on. You're not supposed to stay in the red pill space for your whole life and just be constantly watching these guys, sending them donations so they can kick women out of the podcast. Like me personally, I watched a few. I could put a counted on one hand how many Fresh and Fit podcasts I've probably seen in my whole life, of how many Andrew Tate videos I've seen in my whole life. I've never watched a full Tate podcast. Hamza, I watch some of his videos, but even him, it's like, okay, you watch it, you watch 4 or 5 videos of these people, you get their ideology, you understand, you've learned some new information, you're supposed to take that and move on, which this guy, he eventually did. Once he started to notice, like, okay, now sleeping with a bunch of women or, dating multiple women at a time, it's not doing anything good for me. And once he understood that, he's like, okay, let me move on from this. But I don't think he can sit there and kind of just say he didn't nothing was good about the red pill, ideologies that they were preaching at the time. But, let me know what you guys think about this, because like I said, to me, I don't think this was nothing to kind of like call them out over. At the end of the day, we all make our own decisions, and we cannot, even me, like you watching me, just because I say something, run it through your personal filter, do your own research. Don't go to multiple sources. Don't just say, Justin said this, so maybe I should do this. Like, no, you got to think about it for yourself. We all got minds. We all got knowledge within us that we can access, and you just do what makes you feel good. It makes and seems right for you at the end of the day, man. Red pill, like I said, it's a pit stop. It's not, okay, we're gonna be here forever and yeah, let's go red pill for our whole lives. Like it's cool, but once you got that understanding, you literally just move on with your life, and maybe you even start to develop your own ideologies about certain things that have worked for you. Because to be honest, everybody finds red pill content in different ways. Some guys are just young guys. They want to get into weightlifting, and next thing you know, they in the self-improvement space, and that leads them into red pill space. Some guys, they go through the divorce or the bad breakup, or the kids not really being his kids or something like that. Me personally, I've talked about this before. Like, I went through a crazy situation where a woman tried to get me locked up. After that, I couldn't trust women for a long time, and that's what led me to finding that, and like wanting to improve myself after that situation led me to finding the red pill space. I was in it for a while. This is the early days, before it became a mainstream thing. This is like 2018, 2019 is when I found red pill content, and it was very different back then. They had something called MGTOW or MGTOW, whatever. Like, there was that group of guys, and then there was the guys that were coming out and using like the whole like red pill rhetoric, and just giving men the understanding about female nature and certain things, and how like a lot of these situations will happen to you if you don't protect yourself and you don't have the proper information. So like I said, as far as Myron and them, like, yeah, like some of their stuff, the shows, if you're consistently watching it, like it's gospel, any of these guys, you probably are going to become somewhat toxic. And it's because you're basically idolizing them at the end of the day. Once you are, like me, I don't know any guy personally that has seen like every single Fresh and Fit podcast. Like most guys that I know, they seen once or twice, or if a influencer that they like goes on the show, they might watch that, but it's not something that it's like, oh yeah, man, we got to tune in. Did y'all see the girl he kicked out last night? It's like, nah, like you too heavily invested at that point, and it will start to, shape your life, and it'll fuck you up, man. You got to watch what you consume at the end of the day. But I'm glad for this discussion right here, because we don't see this side of it a lot. Well, we kind of do. Like we see people trying to say, oh, red pill is toxic. It's this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, it's about you being your own man and, understanding the world for what it is, taking the information as it is, and moving however you want to move after that. But let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments below, man. As always, love y'all. I'm out.